The pandemic may be in the rearview mirror, but its lasting effects on education linger on. The numbers tell the story. The National Center for Education Statistics gives out tests every year for what's called the Nation's Report Card. Well, from 2020 to this year, average reading scores dropped 4 points, while average math scores dropped 9 points.
We need to close the gap. There are many gaps, and I taught during the pandemic. I worked, I tried my hardest, but it was still hard.
Getting kids back on track is a complex issue involving a number of factors. So, any progress in a positive direction is worthy of note. And we are starting to see some of that growth in the state of Kansas. Assessment results newly released by the State Department of Education show more students are scoring proficient or higher in math and language arts compared to last year. In fact, the state says test results for math are the highest they've been since 2017. And chronic absenteeism is down nearly 3% from last year. Dr. Randy Watson is Kansas Commissioner of Education and joins us to talk about the positive progress being made and what still needs to be done. Thank you so much for being here today. Let's start with the assessments. They track 3rd through 8th graders and 10th graders. What are these numbers telling you about the progress made since the start of the pandemic?
Thanks, Cody. It's good to be with you. We're really excited in what we see in the spring 23 test results. First of all, no grade level in either English language arts or mathematics decreased from that level 3 and 4 that you mentioned, which is the level that we want students to be at, and no grade level increased in level 1, which is the lowest level. So we were extremely excited to see those assessment scores rebound after falling some during the COVID period. We want to obviously look at this over the next several years, but we are strongly encouraged by what we saw this last spring.
Now, as you mentioned, for people who don't know, Kansas ranks student performance into 4 levels, level 4 being kind of the best, 1 is the lowest as far as proficiency goes. Though there are some improvements, as you said, about 1/3 of the students are listed in level 1 in math and English language arts, more than 40% level 1 in science, according to your website. Obviously, these numbers aren't where you want them to be. What's being done to change them?
Yeah, so Cody, first, we always want to say when Kansas set the standards and the proficiency levels back in 2016 and 2017, the U.S. Department of Education and our friends over at NAEP said these are the highest standards and the highest proficiency cut scores in the nation. So I always want listeners to put that in perspective. That being said, we know that the number of students in level 1 is not where we want it to be. And so the state board is in the process of doing several things. They have allocated $15 million to train all pre-K through elementary teachers, reading specialists, even higher education professors that train teachers in the science of reading, so that everyone can have a firm basis on how to teach structured literacy and the science of reading. We did a similar initiative with mathematics. Those training modules will be released just as soon as we get the English language arts training completed. And then also our state board is in the late process of adopting a new accreditation process, which will focus directly on literacy, mathematics, science, social studies, those core academics, along with what we call our Kansas CAN competencies, and we'll be incorporating more help for our school districts in aligning curriculum to standards and making sure that they're using assessments that tell them whether the student is on track or not at a much earlier point in the year.
Are you seeing improvements in different kinds of districts, rural versus urban? What's the layout?
Cody, we actually saw improvement almost across the board, from rural, suburban to urban. And that's what was encouraging about that. We also, Cody, because we measure multiple sets of data to look at success of students, and one of those is graduation. We also saw an increase in high school graduation. We strongly measure our post-secondary effective measure, which takes a look at students after high school and did they go on to post-secondary. We've increased that 7 percentage points in the last 7 years. We also took a look at the number of students taking dual credit classes in high school. That number hit a record peak last year, as did the number of credits that they earned. So all of those metrics were up along with the state assessment scores. We think we're turning in the right direction, and that's kind of how we look at it, Cody. But we're very encouraged by what we saw this last year in all of our metrics that the state board measures.
What's your message to parents as we push past the pandemic here?
Cody, you mentioned chronic absenteeism. So the first thing we have to make sure is students need to be in school. We used to run about 13% pre-pandemic of students who were chronically absent. These are students that miss more than 10% of the days of school. We saw that number almost go to 26% during the pandemic years. Last year, we reduced that to a little bit over 21%, but we really need to reduce that now back down toward 10% or less. So parents, number one, get your students to school. School is vitally important, and every day that they're out of school, they do less well than students that are in school. Then two, make sure you're reading to students at home, making sure they're completing their homework and giving a good effort. And if we have those things, along with the work that the state board and local districts are doing, we're very optimistic about the future.
All right. Kansas Education Commissioner Dr. Randy Watson, thank you so much for your time today. You can read the latest Kansas State assessment scores and even compare years for your district online at ksreportcard.ksde.org.